We've all heard the analogy that life is like a juggling act. You're juggling work, business, finances, relationships, your family, education, your health. And I've come to realize that it doesn't matter if you're juggling more or less. Every now and then, chances are you will drop a ball. And the panic and anxiety from dropping that ball can knock you off balance, leading to more balls falling down. Now, whether you've dropped a ball or all of your balls are on the floor, today we'll talk about getting back up. I'm equally inviting you to be a part of a 21-day Get Back on Track challenge coming up next month, actually in just about 2 weeks. And as we move along in this video, I'll be giving you more details on how it's going to play out and why August is a very strategic month for this challenge. Sometimes we need the guidance, motivation, and accountability of a group to push ourselves to get back up. Getting back up implies you started strong. Now you've lost steam. You were so focused. Now distractions have stepped in. You were so organized. Now you sit in the middle of chaos. You were self-confident, motivated. Now self-limiting voices are having a party in your head. But I want to remind you that just because you stumble doesn't mean it's over. You can still get back up, not just to chase more goals and reach a finish line. You can get back up and live a life that is full of meaning, joy, and contentment. Now, this is not the difficult part. We all know that there can always be a comeback. The challenging thing is how. How do you bring yourself to heal from that fall and to hope again? How do you hit restart or hit on pause and resume from where you left off? How do you build life transforming habits and realistic sustainable routines, reorganize your life, and get back on track? So together with the 21-day challenge, I want to quickly share with you 5 insights that have not only helped me get back up, but equally break the vicious cycle of rising and falling every now and then. Most of them I started applying last year, and I've seen myself becoming a starter and finisher of the things I put my mind to do. And even when I do drop a ball, I'm able to get back up quickly. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Chantal, and here I share content that helps you get clear on that which you've been called to do and how to stay productive and actually get it done, but without compromising your faith, principles, values, and without the crazy burnout that the world is trying to normalize. So if that resonates with you, then this is a safe space to hang out. Now, the first thing is that whenever we fall back in any area of our lives, it's very easy for us to feel alone in that situation. One of the biggest weapons of the enemy these days is to put on you that feeling of being alone. He wants you to believe that you are alone in your struggles and that no one cares. You're the only one who is so disorganized, the only one who has made such a big mistake, the only one who has blundered in life. You're the only one who doesn't have their lives figured out yet. But I want to tell you that you are not alone. Every successful person you see out there today will tell you that they've at some point failed to keep the promise they made to themselves. They've at some point made a bad decision that costed them maybe their money, ministry, relationships, business, their health. They'll tell you that they've at some point battled with the urge to quit. As a matter of fact, I had one of those falling off the wagon episodes not too long ago. Entering into the second quarter of the year, it was my plan to pull back from my Instagram reels and Facebook reels temporarily so that I could pay more attention to this channel and to my offline goals, which is a priority for me this year. All was going on well until about maybe like 6 weeks ago. I suddenly just lost momentum in a few number of things, and I thought it was just one of those weeks, but then it turned out to not just be that week, and I had to push myself to get back up. I'm sharing this to let you know that even the most organized people with clarity, who have a plan and know where they are heading, can drop a ball. One of the key things that helped me not just to get back up, but to break that cycle of rise and fall, was to figure out the reason for the fall. You see, when we fall back in any area of our lives, the tendency is to panic and try to push harder, run faster to catch on that moving wagon. But then it's a matter of time before you fall off it again. So it's important to find out what is responsible for this vicious cycle. And I'm not talking about the surface reason, but like the real reason. For example, if you were hiking and you stepped on a slippery rock and you fell, The surface reason is the slippery rock, but the real reason could be the wrong shoes you are wearing. Now, if all you do is take away that slippery rock and you do not change your shoes, it's just a matter of time before you step on another slippery rock and fall again, because you cannot remove all the slippery rocks on your hiking path. After talking with so many people and looking even at my own life, I've come to realize that one of the biggest reasons is behavioral patterns. It says here that behavioral patterns can refer to a person's repeated way of acting in a particular situation or in relation to a specific object. They can also refer to a series of actions or thoughts that occur in a specific pattern throughout a person's life. So you see, it is a repeated way of acting in a particular situation. If you take time and track, you'll see that there is a particular behavior that keeps repeating itself and keeps making you fall. A common one is avoidance tendencies. Are you the kind of person who would avoid opening your school email because you know there's a homework in there that you do not want to face? You avoid making that call. You avoid checking your bank account. You avoid people and places. Every little situation feels too overwhelming for you, or you feel too powerless to face them, leading to chronic procrastination. Another one could be a limiting mindset, blinding you from seeing what God is capable of doing through you. Or maybe for you, it is impulsive tendencies, making it difficult for you to stick to a plan and a routine. Do you have self-sabotaging tendencies? What behavioral patterns have you noticed that is holding you back? Also take note of seasonal patterns. You must have noticed that there are particular days, weeks, months of the year that you probably struggle emotionally than others, struggle financially than others, you are more distracted than others, and sometimes it's of no making of yours. It may just be the demands that times and seasons place on us. If you know that you are more productive in the morning, but then you sleep in and you schedule a very demanding activity in the afternoon, chances are you will fall back. If you know that certain days or weeks or months are more noisy and distracting, avoid starting or ending major projects in such months. For example, September often comes with that back to school rush and anxiety, and that is why our 21-day challenge in August is very strategic, so that you have a system and a routine running for you before you step into a busy month like that. Another busy month for me is June, because of the many end of school year activities with my kids and prep for vacation. You see, I recorded these two videos back to back, ready to complete this series on joy, contentment, and fulfillment before I break on my 2 weeks vacation. But some audio problems coupled with the busyness of that month, I ended up not being able to put it up for you. By the way, I just want to apologize to you, all my viewers, and thank you so much for being so gracious towards me. But I'm just sharing this to let you know that if year in, year out, you have seen certain patterns with certain seasons, you should be wise enough to know how to plan around those times. Also track the patterns in your surroundings or your environment. Are there some places, people, the media you consume that contribute to you falling off your routine or you breaking the promise that you made to yourself? If you can't completely avoid certain places and people, then set healthy boundaries and communicate them. You see, we keep putting ourselves in certain places and situations, and then we wonder why we keep falling or we cannot rise up to our true potentials. Now, there's no way you'll be able to identify these patterns in your behavior, in the seasons of life, in your environment, if you do not take the time to track them down. That's why I took time on this point, because somebody may be like, please hurry up and just give me the steps, the tips, the tricks on how to be more productive. But then you see that those tools are not helpful to you because these patterns in your life keep holding you back. You see, there's a mindset I thought I had dealt with, but lately I realized that it's still there and it keeps holding me back at a certain stage of most of my endeavors. But lately a light bulb went off and I was like, never again will I let you hold me back again. Note that there is no learned behavior that cannot be unlearned, and there is no trauma that God cannot heal. There is no spiritual stronghold that cannot be broken, and there is abundant wisdom available for you to find practical ways to get back up. So do not lose hope. Do not sink into shame, but silence the voice of self-condemnation. It's very common that after identifying these self-sabotaging behaviors, instead of looking for ways to rise above them, we tend to sink into self-pity and self-condemnation. You start to say things like, who am I kidding? After all these mistakes and patterns in my life, I can never be a good friend, parent, or spouse. I can never make a marriage work. I can never own a successful business or ministry. I don't deserve to be in that leadership position, or I don't deserve to be in this group or that community. I always tell people to ask themselves if the voice in their head is a voice of conviction or the voice of condemnation, and it's very easy to tell the difference. Condemnation comes with shame, isolation, and makes you walk away from the solution, whereas conviction can make you feel regret and remorseful but pulls you towards change. Godly sorrow brings about repentance, right? Because it's rooted in love and grace. If the prodigal son felt condemned, he never would have run back home, and he would have stayed out there and be lost. So what I do when I drop a ball is not to give excuses or try to forgive myself, as many people say these days, but I rather receive God's forgiveness, which has already been made available for me. Just saying I forgive myself does not suddenly get rid of the guilt. It's a lot easier to acknowledge that I allowed laziness, distraction, excuses, disobedience, compromise to step in, and then receive forgiveness and wisdom to get back up. Now, should we use the fact that we are not condemned as an excuse to stay down? No. Jesus always said, I do not condemn you, but go and sin no more. And this brings us to the next thing, which is to partner with God to get back up. Partner with Him for the power, wisdom, guidance, provision that you need to get back on track. The toxic self-reliance you hear a lot out there is one of the reasons why we are experiencing this continuous overwhelm, anxiety, burnout, because we are trying to do it all by ourselves, in our own power and in our own might. We need God's power to break the stronghold of some of those behavioral patterns. We need His wisdom to be more resourceful, to work smarter and not harder. There are so many people out there doing more with less time, more with less energy, more with less finances, connections, opportunities. We need His wisdom to research and learn new things. When last did you research or sign up for something related to what you want to achieve or who you want to become? Partner with God for guidance as you take practical steps to build life transforming habits and sustainable routines for your life. And this is where our 21-day challenge comes in. It takes about 21 days to form a habit and about 66 days for that habit to stick and become automatic. Within these 21 days, you'll get weekly challenges to help you break those behavioral patterns, improve on your productivity and time management, be it in the area of business, career, ministry, your faith, your health, your mental and emotional well-being. Free templates and journaling prompts, and most importantly, group support so that we can encourage, pray, and hold each other accountable. Break free from isolation. There's this quote that bad habits are demons that often push us into isolation because they know that in our loneliness, there's a lesser chance of them being overcome. So click the link in the description box below to save your seat and to get more details on how this challenge is going to play out. And finally, declare your victory even before you can see it. This can be difficult, especially if you're looking at the little time you have left, the few resources that you have, the many habits you have to build. But you see, you have to submit to God's ability and His own timing. You have no idea what God is capable of doing within 24 hours of your life. So trust Him and begin to speak the things which be not as though they are. What is it that you want to achieve? Who is it that you want to become? You know, there's so many things that I'm declaring these days about what I want to achieve and who I want to become. But one of those main things is that I am a kingdom builder. And as I say it every day, my mind begins to think like a kingdom builder. In every role that I play, I begin to act like a kingdom builder. And I know that as I keep on taking these little steps, kingdom building resources are going to locate me. In every role of your life, you have to start thinking, talking, and acting like that person you want to become. This helps to do away with the grumbling, complaining, and the self-limiting beliefs, and it invites God's joy, peace, and contentment. And this is a beautiful space to work from. It feels like you're working from the place of rest. So a quick recap: you're not alone. Find out the reason for the fall, silence the voice of condemnation, partner with God to get back up, and begin to declare your victory even before you see it. So take immediate action, and remember, I'm always here to cheer you on. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next.